Let's go through the list first. Forgot about that. So obviously 1 copy of the leader. 4 Android 21, A Bad Omen. Android 21, The Beautiful Sciences. Android 16, A New Start. Kibito's Kai's Attendant. Undying Spirit Gohan. Vegeta the Cruel, 4 of them. 4 E Supreme Kai. 4 Destructive Champa. 4 Father Son Gallic Gun. 4 Objections. 4 Senzo Bean. 4 Dimension Magic. And then 2 copies of the Android 21 scheme. First off, obviously you play the leader, you get that field card, and there's only 2 copies in the deck because you're automatically going to get 1 for free into play. That one's just a backup copy. Active main once per turn, choose 1 clone token in your opponent's battle area and remove it from the game. Draw a card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards that has an energy cost of 1 and return it to its owner's hand. Then at the start of your opponent's next main phase, choose up to 1 blue-green multicolor card in your energy and switch it to active mode. And then if you have 4 less life, you draw 2 cards and awaken her. On her awakened side, she has the same effect as the front side. Active main, you choose a clone token, remove it from the game, and then you can draw a card, bounce up to 1 battle card with energy cost of 1 from your opponent's field to their hand. Just make some money on eBay. Anyway, and then return, and then at the start of your opponent's next main phase, choose up to 1 blue-green multicolor card in your energy and switch it to active mode. Now, I'm personally confused about the whole main phase thing, because it's like when it's your turn, you play, right? You charge, then you're in your main phase. You play a battle card, right? And then you normally attack, and then you go back to your main phase and activate an effect or play another battle card and then attack. So it's like you're going back and forth between main phase and battle phase. So I'm a little confused with the whole next main phase thing. So I don't know if what will happen is if your opponent is like, obviously they draw, they charge, they are automatically going into a main phase, and you get to untap 1 of your blue-green multicolor cards in energy. And then if they attack, and then they play another battle card, for example, essentially they're going back to main phase again. Not just going battle, then end phase. They're going back to main phase. Then you untap another energy. Or if they attack with their battle card, obviously that's battle. But then when they attack with their leader, would it count as that attack is battle? Then they're technically going back to main phase. So you can untap another energy before they attack with their leader or something. This is a little bit confusing with the whole next main phase thing. Obviously, you can just state it where main phase is just 1 whole phase. You're just declaring different attacks within that 1 main phase. So the next main phase would be your next turn, right? So again, just saying, I'm a little confused with that aspect, because most card games, you do everything main phase, and then you go battle phase, and then there might be a main phase 2 or just an end phase. The fact that this lets you go battle main phase makes it a little complicated when it comes to this type of effect. But we'll find out, more clarification on that. Just wanted to point that out. That's my confusion right there. Because it'd be cool, right, to keep untapping energy, because then you'll tap it on purpose. Because imagine your opponent attacks, you tap 1 of your multicolor cards to play like your Dimension Match to negate the attack. Then they end up going back to main phase to play, let's say, another battle card, or play something else. And then you just untap that energy. Obviously, Dimension Measure will let you untap 2 energies, but you can untap 2 other energies, not the same one you tap for this, and then wait until your opponent goes back into main phase, and then untap another energy. So you end up getting 3 energies off of 1 Dimension Magic type of deal. So like, not too sure how that's going to play out at the current moment, but we'll see. For the gameplay of this deck, since you automatically get Android's 21 scheme, she has the ability where she creates a... Because I noticed this game doesn't have summoning sickness like in Magic. Obviously, this game is based off of Magic and a couple other card games, Card Fight, Vanguard, and Duel Masters. That most of those other games, they have summoning sickness, is what they call it. Where once you play a battle card or a creature or whatever, it can't attack the turn it comes into play. This gives that exact ability. Once per turn, her auto is a field card auto. When you or your opponent plays a non-token battle card, it can't attack for the duration of the turn. So it automatically gives Summoning Sickness to the first battle card you play, because it's a once per turn. So that means any other battle cards you play won't be effective. It'll be the first one you play will typically be the one that gets affected. So this affects you and your opponent, and there's obviously some ways to get around it. I was trying to play a strategy to get around that, but then I decided no, the best way to do it is to basically ignore it. Play my battle cards mostly on my opponent's turn more than my turn, so that way this doesn't even have no real effect against me. So that's the idea. And then of course definitely use this against my opponent, because my opponent's more likely going to play their battle cards on their turns more than on my turn anyway, unless they're playing counterplays like I am. Obviously, you see I got the Undying Spirit Son Gohan, which I'll play on my opponent's turn. You know, Vegeta the Cool, I'll play on my opponent's turn more often than not. Sometimes I might play it on my turn, but typically it'll be on my opponent's turn, so that way I can bypass the effective Android's 21 schemes. And then because of the whole Summoning Sickness aspect, I'm going with the Magic game plan. Because what's so funny is, just like yesterday I was just thinking like, man, I noticed that this game doesn't have Summoning Sickness. How different it would be if it did, because certain cards would be a lot stronger if that was the case, like Father Son Galigun and Kibito Kai's Attendant. These cards would be stronger if if there was Summoning Sickness. And then now there is, according to this card. So it's like the irony of me thinking about Summoning Sickness and then this card becomes a thing. And then it's Android 21 on top of that. I'm a fan of the character, so it's like, it's ironic that she does this. And she's blue and everything. Alright, enough of the rant. Just going to go into utilizing and maximizing this card's ability. Since your opponent's battle card, and they typically will play one battle card per turn on average, especially starting turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Once they get to turn 4 and up, they could play multiple battle cards, but typically it'd be turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. They'll be playing one battle card at most a turn, and they'll be utilizing their leader to do most of the attacks. So to combine this, to take advantage of that ability, we have Kibito Kai's Attendant, and we have Father Son Galigun. This will let you bounce battle cards from your opponent's side field back to the hand. Good, this will keep them from being able to build up a board by bouncing the stuff back to the hand. So because of that, these cards are good. You can get rid of something that's problematic and don't have to worry about it doing something next turn. So this helps you stall a little bit more. So that's the thing, you can play out a little stall strategy by bouncing stuff back to battle cards back to your opponent's hand, so they will have to replay them. Preferably battle cards that don't have a enter the battle ability. Preferably you want them to have you want to use this on battle cards that has, when they attack, they get an effect. This will be good too. The fact that they can't attack the turn they come in, right? Your opponent has to wait a turn. Well, it's your turn. You'll bounce it back to their hand, and then they have to play it again. So that that causes them to go back a couple turns, right? You're holding them back from being able to finally get an attack. Because normally you play a battle card, you can go into an attack. This deck makes it where you can't just play and then attack. You play and then you gotta play and wait, right? So you're taking advantage of that. Kibito Kai's Attendant, he does 3 or less, so it's not that strong, but it's still something. It has its use. The main thing was always to try to keep certain battle cards alive. It's hard to keep something protected because I don't want to use negates and combo cards in my hand to try to keep something in play for too long. Kibito Kai, is a card I like, but always hated that it's only 10k. If it was like 15, 20k, it would do more. But the fact that it's 10k, it's easier to kill on average, so it's harder to protect. So I never expect to keep any battle cards in play for a long period of time. But in this deck, there's a higher chance of being able to keep him in play longer. So what you'll want to do with him is you'll want to obviously use him to bounce your opponent's 3 or less back to their hand. To keep the stall going, right, and to keep them in play longer. But also because part of the condition of using his effect is that you got to bounce one of your battle cards back to your hand. Now, granted, you could bounce him. You could play him, tap him, right rest him to use his ability, bounce him back to your hand to bounce one of your opponent's battle cards 3 or less back to their hand, and keep doing that over and over again. Another thing you could do is, instead, if you want to reuse, which is where I started coming up with this synergy, is reuse your Undying Spirit Gohan. For example, he can have energy. He can bounce 4 or less battle cards back to one's hand. So you could do this whole counterplay thing, like I'll bounce that, tap, on your turn bounce something, then on my turn tap, bounce Gohan back to my hand, and then bounce something on your side of the field back to your hand. You get the idea. There's gonna be some looping going on right there. So that's the strategy I'm going with. And then with the field cards helping with the stall and helping with the the strategy, you can just bounce, play, bounce, play, bounce, play, and you can just keep on. Obviously, it's a control deck, so it's true blue control deck. Finally, we have a nice little strategy here that allows me to abuse that. We have Vegeta the Cool, obviously in case there's something I want to get rid of permanently, and warping your opponent's hand, and then of course bounce this back to your hand with Kabito Kai's ability, and then bounce something, and then just all of that. The ability to control the field, the ability to control your opponent's hand, all that good stuff. And then of course double striking, so you can go for game. Energy ramp, because you want to start setting up the combos as soon as possible. So objections, Senzo Beam, to ramp up. A lot of these cards are obviously self-explanatory. The only real thing to explain was the strategy of using the field card along with Kabito Kai, and then your counterplay battle cards to control the game. And then you got multicolored cards to utilize, to make these counterplay battle cards cheaper. Obviously, make them cost 2 instead of 3. And then on top of that, they have obviously relatively good effects that you can use in the game. This one's pretty good, obviously, because she can be played from your energy area. So if you ever need to bring out a nice little 25,000 beat stick, obviously if you play this the turn in which it comes into play, you won't be able to attack with it, but the next following turn you will be. So just a matter of setting that up. Another thing about the Android 21 scheme is that there's no black battle cards in here, because when you play a black battle card, place it into the drop area. So it's anti-overwhelm. So there's no point in playing any black battle cards, because they'll just get sent to the drop area, so you won't get no use out of them. Also, the other auto of this card is, because this has 3 autos. At the start of your opponent's main phase, play 2 clone tokens with 10,000 power in your opponent's battle area. So you're already giving, with this card, you're already giving your opponent 2 battle cards, 2 10k power tokens that they can attack you with. So remember that you're giving them stuff to attack you with. So they can attack you with their leader, they can attack you with the 2 tokens. But if they play a battle card, the first battle card cannot attack. Any other battle cards after that can attack. The idea is to try to have some bounce and some control. The thing is, the leader can take advantage of those tokens, so it can choose. You choose one of the tokens, remove it from play, and then draw a card, and untap an energy. You get that idea. She doesn't do much anything else other than that, so she helps minimize the fact that this card is giving your opponent 2 tokens. So yeah, not much else in here. Nothing else that can abuse the tokens. There are some cards that could abuse the tokens, to give you abilities, but I didn't want to go that route. I wanted to go this route, the magic route, the summoning sickness route, where I could literally set up certain cards into play and then just start using them over and over and over and over and over again. Love that. And that'll be the end of the video.